Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danny Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis Bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danny Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danny Benson. I am the host of I'm Proud of You, Sis. Please like, share, and follow and subscribe. I am on all streaming platforms. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Today, we are doing the I'm Proud of You, Bro series. And I have my co-host, Kevin Thompson, here to talk about a serious topic as a father to his 11-year-old son. Last week, a comment that he made on the fact that young girls were contacting his young son on WhatsApp went viral to over almost 100,000 people viewed it and had excessive opinions of positive opinions, and then they were certain negative opinions. My opinion is this: when you are a father or you're a mom, you're very protective of your child. And no matter how old they are your babies. And especially when they're at the age of 11 years old, they're still your babies and they still don't know everything that's going on in the world. And as a mom or a dad, it's up to you to guide them onto the right path. I commend Kevin, my co-host from The Most, for coming on the show I'm Proud of You, Sis, featuring I'm Proud of You, Bro, to talk about why is it important for him, to be a parent to his son and to interject himself where he sees fit as a father. So everyone, please welcome the Kevin Thompson on I'm Proud of You, Sis. I'm Proud of You, Bro. So what is up, bro? You hit me up and you were like, D, I'm going viral. I was like, what's going on? What is going on, Kev? And I went on your page and I was like, wow. I was so surprised because me as a mother, I am protective of my daughters and I would have done the same thing. And I felt like because you're a male, you're a father, you're being treated differently. So I want to hear your perspective as to how it started, what made you do the video, and what you want the world to know about you as a person and as a father.
First and foremost, people are crazy.
Okay.
That's one thing I learned. I am so happy I had the hindsight to record that conversation just to let people know who just jumped in this and have no idea. We normally talk about hot topics, Danny and I love you, sis. She loves me, bro. I had no idea I was going to be the hot topic. This is what happened. Last week, a group of girls, and for those of you who don't know, girls around 11, 12, 13, they can be a bit aggressive when it comes to boys. They can be very aggressive. I know boys are known for being aggressive. Men are known for being aggressive, the aggressors. But let's not act stupid here. Girls can also be aggressive.
So Kev, let's talk about that part. Why do you feel like little girls could be aggressive? So people are watching the show.
Well, they could be aggressive. Well, keep in mind, not even keep in mind, I was always told this, especially in like a very braggy type of way, sort of way, a braggadocious sort of way. Women are smarter than men. Women develop faster than men. True. So then what else do you think they do before men? What else do you think they're more curious about before men, especially during that 11, 12, 13-year-old age?
Hormonal stages.
A lot of hormones. And the thing is, Danny, I don't want anyone listening to this thinking he's blaming everything on women. No. I'm blaming this specific thing.
Yeah, we're just talking about this specific incident. We're talking about this incident, not any other incidents. So don't.
But Danny, keep in mind, if you go on my page, Hey Kev, all these parents are writing things that happen to their boys. things that happen or currently happening to their boys. Moms are connecting, saying, you know what, I'm going through this right now too. Let's chat, let's talk, because it's not being spoken about and people don't address it as seriously as they think they need to. So now for the folks that need the skinny, this is what happened. Long story short, 5 girls, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 girls want to put my son in the group chat. Now, they all have interest in him. This is when people say, how do you know they like them? Because they do. How do you know they don't? You don't know me, you don't know them. And even if they didn't like him, he said no to the group chat. He said he wasn't interested, and they ignored him and created it anyway. So that's already the first inappropriate motion in this entire scenario. So that's already inappropriate. That needs to be addressed. After they created it, they called him incessantly. He asked them not to. They didn't listen, they continued. Violation number 2. Now I'm driving into school in the morning, they call again. And he's like, Dad, they're calling again. And I can see that he's troubled. He looks bothered. We all know, at least the ones that take care of the kids, you know when they're troubled, you know when they're off. So I go, Carter, answer the phone. And for me, I'm here driving and I have my cell phone on the dashboard, and I had the hindsight to press record. So I press record and he's holding up the phone. And I'm looking at all the boxes for the group chat, and all the boxes are empty except for one. In that one box, there's 3 girls in that one box. You can hear like an echo go off because she had her group chat thing on too, and she turned it off. I look at them, and you can see the video online, and I say, good morning, girls. This is Carter's father, Mr. Kevin. I'd like you guys to stop using this line. It's school time, and Carter needs to focus on that. You ladies have a beautiful day. Now, for the ladies that aren't in the group chat right now, because there's 5 and I only saw 3, for the ladies that aren't in the group chat right now, please relay this message to them. If not, I'll relay it to them later on. That's it. Hang up the phone. My son was already just happy. I could see it. He was slouching. He felt confident. Later on that day, right before I spoke to the principal, actually, I'm talking to my son, and he let me know that the group chat ballooned up from 5 to 13 girls.
So is he the only guy on the group
He's the
chat?
only guy. He's the only guy. And for the people who don't know, my son's a good-looking kid. Good-looking kid. He speaks well. He's a charmer, but he's also 11 and not interested in girls at all. But you see,
And he just
when a
turned
boy's
11. He turned 11.
He just turned 11. He turned 11, a week later, this incident happened. So now my son is interested in about 3 things: video games, and sports. That is it. He talks to me about girls every once in a while, but it's the type of talk where I know he's not interested in them right now. For those of you who don't know, 11-year-old boys and 11-year-old girls, there's a disparity. I mean, there's a very big difference in terms of what they're thinking about and their mindset. 11-year-old girls are more similar to a 13-year-old boy. 13, around that age, that's when the boys are really starting to. Not all of them. Some people asked before.
They say girls mature faster than boys.
Correct.
So I have daughters, and they're 10. They're going to be 11 later on this year. So I think it has to do, honestly, where the parents have them also. Where the parents have them looking at also.
Without a doubt. So now I don't know, as you know, we don't know other people's kids. We don't know what they're doing. I mean, we know that we don't know what they're doing at home, what they're being exposed to, even the type of music they're listening to. You know, I hosted a party a couple of weeks ago for a group of 6th graders, and they were begging me to play Rich Baby Daddy. Please play Rich Baby Daddy, the Drake and Sexy Red song. So finally, myself and the DJ played it. Now, at all the parties I host, especially the ones with younger kids, we always play the edited versions of every song. But that doesn't stop the guests from saying what they know. That song comes on, they say every single word, every single disgusting word, like it was the Pledge of Allegiance. Like they all knew it. Shake that ass, bitch. Well, how did they go? Pop that coochie. Like it was insane. I have a video of it, but I couldn't post that. 1, there's a bunch of people's kids I'm not going to post. 2, they're saying some crazy stuff. So we don't know what other kids are exposed to. So now, this is what happened. After I recorded that video, I thought, you know me, I like to post things in my stories, especially my day. I'm not posting all the time in terms of like actual post the block on my page, but in my stories, I post. You know, I like to have conversations via the DM. So I post that story on my page, in my story, and it blows up. I post that video on my story and it blows up. Goes nuts. My numbers double. So now I'm here like, you know what? If it has such a big reaction in my story, I don't know what's gonna happen when I put it on my page. Oh boy. It hasn't even been a week yet. It's about to hit 1 million views. I don't even know the like count right now.
1 million views?
1 million views. Right now, last time I looked at it before we started, it was at 903,000. This morning, as in like 4 hours ago, it was at around 845,000. So it's already going up.
So tell the audience, why is it going viral?
So
what
it's going viral.
At hand?
It's going viral because, and I'll put this before I start talking about the negative, even though everyone loves the negative. I love it too. If you go on my story, that's all I highlight. In terms of this situation, there are an overwhelming amount of positive comments, like overwhelming. There's so many. So
give me some of the positive comments, because we want to.
Well, the positive, exactly what you said. You know, great job, Dad. A lot of people out there, if you're not parenting your kids, somebody else is going to parent them. And then again, mothers and fathers are sharing stories about what happened to them. This one guy said, this woman was trying to get my son to impregnate her 12-year-old daughter. And he cut all that stuff out. A mom was trying to do that. Now, that is one of the stranger cases. The rest of the cases are very much kind of the same in terms of girls putting boys in group chats, girls sending inappropriate stuff, because the boys don't really know. I know people say boys are gross and this and that. No. You're talking about men. Men can be gross and things. Boys don't know what's going on until they know what's going on. Right now, my son doesn't know what's going on. He knows about sex.
So let's take this fact. Your son is still in elementary school.
That's right. That's important to know. Guys. We're talking about elementary school.
Elementary school. He's not even in middle school, junior high school, or high school. He's in elementary school. He is still in 5th grade, guys. Okay.
Yep.
This is why, Kevin had to speak up, because how is a 5th grade?
He didn't have the words. He didn't have the words.
And
the thing is, honestly, Danny, he could be in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Boys don't have a voice, and they don't know how to say no to girls. Because what's interesting is that most women think that men always want to sleep with them. And that's not the case. Sure, we want to sleep with women, not necessarily you, just we want to sleep with a woman, not you. Just because you are a woman doesn't mean you are the woman I want to sleep with or do anything with.
And to say one more fact, no means no. And
that's the big thing.
Women,
both ways.
And it goes for men, both ways. It's not like, okay, women can say no. And I hate the thing where, well, they say no, but they really don't mean no. Now these days, if someone takes no out of caution, you should take the answer as no.
It's problems. So now, again, overwhelming positive comments. That's exactly what I would have done, Dad. Or people give examples of what their father did. They go, this guy was nice. If that was my father on the phone, because I was, one, I'm already a nice person, but two, I'm going to be nice to these girls, because at the end of the day, these are still girls that Carter's going to see and have to live with. Because a lot of people also said, so now these are the negative comments. The top one was blocked. Bro, just block it. Just block the number, which eventually was something we were going to do. But you have to understand, we didn't grow up with cell phones, right? We had cell phones a little bit later on in life. What do we do when we have problems with people? Do we block them?
No, you have to have a discussion. You have
to deal with that. You have to deal with that. So these people that are saying block, which I get that you're coming from a good place, but me blocking or having my son block those girls is going to teach them what exactly? It's going to teach my son what? It's going to teach those girls what? It's not going to teach them anything. I saw this moment as a valuable teaching moment in boundaries, which is why I wanted to teach these young ladies, as well as my son. And then when the video was recorded, he was sitting down right there listening to it. My son sees everything I do and how I speak. So you can eventually deal with that. A lot of people felt as though, one, it should be blocked, so I already addressed that. Two, they felt like I was a helicopter parent and that I should have had him handle this himself. Now, let me break it down. My son is a very strong boy in terms of his mental, and he's physically strong. He already advocated for himself. The girls hit him up. He said no. They hit him again, and he kept on saying no continuously. That's him advocating for himself. They didn't get the picture, so then he called on his parents, which so happened to be me, because he knows that I'm going to advocate for him, which is what I did. So for those of you that wanted an 11-year-old boy to handle a complex issue as the opposite sex all by himself, even though his brain isn't fully developed until 25, no thank you. You can have your own child do that. But honestly, I don't want you to have your own child do that. I want you to learn from this issue and stand up for your kids right now for their kids. Even though the world, the law recognizes them as adults when they're 18, you still have to stand up for them and be with them. Those are still your babies. You know, I'm not saying hold their hands, but still be there and let them know that you're there for them to come to. For the people that are having their kids handle it.
So Kev, parents are mad or giving negative comments because you responded to these 5 girls.
Correct.
In behalf of your son. And what exactly did you say to these 5 girls?
Well, I said it already. Good morning. Please stop using this line. Carter's focusing on school. Have a beautiful day.
That was it. So that's innocent enough. That's innocent enough.
I said those words exactly, and I said it even nicer than I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it kind of like robotically. I'm just listing it, but that's all I said. So now the big one that parents are upset about, especially women, Black women. And I hate putting color on anything. If you look at the story, look at what I wrote, I don't mention anything about color because I don't think color plays a role in this situation. This is happening to Black people, to white people, to Chinese people, to everybody. They were upset that a man spoke to little girls, and they thought that their parents should have been contacted first. Now, for the people who feel that way, they obviously didn't look at the whole story or read it and see that my son was being harassed, and I intervened. And then I contacted the school, who contacted the parents. At least they told me to. I'm following up with the school to make sure they did right. But then for the people that, it's very telling for the people I saw that video as a man, not even just speaking to, they said I was threatening / chastising little girls. So now that's what they saw in the video, but what they should have saw was a parent standing up for their child and correcting the behavior of a group of harassers, because that's what they were. If there's consistent, unwarranted attention, it's called harassment. Because if this entire thing was reversed and it was 5 boys trying to put your daughter in a group chat, after they've already expressed to her that they have feelings for her, one, that's a no-no by anybody. And if they create it and they continuously call her, we have a problem. We already know what people are going to label those boys, what they're going to say, what they're going to do to them, and how they're going to talk about them. It's very obvious that I made people uncomfortable.
Let me interject. And your daughter being 10, going on 11. We're not talking about middle school. We're not talking about high school. We have to make this very clear. It's my life. What happened to your life? What happened to your life?
That's my life. I must have died. Did you die, Battery? Did you die? Must have. Oh, you can still see me though, right?
You still look good. Kev, you still look good. But what I want to tell parents is if a girl was 10, like I have daughters who are 10, and if boys were calling their WhatsApp and my girls were saying to them no, and they wouldn't stop, I as a mom would interject and tell them that, first of all, it's inappropriate. It's one thing if you're calling just to talk about like kid stuff. It's another thing you're calling to insinuate something inappropriate. Right? Yep. So women understand that about their girls. And I feel like we as women need to understand that about men and their sons also, because their sons also have that same right, that same space, that same boundary. It doesn't matter the sex. Boundary is a boundary. That's number one.
Boundaries is a two-way street. Whatever works for girls should also work for boys. My son said no a bunch of times. Some people are just upset about the fact that I said that the group chat was inappropriate. Why is it inappropriate? Why are you insinuating that the girls did this? Those are all the people that are high-key defending 5 aggressive girls. Do you see people defending 5 aggressive boys? That's not happening. And then they get upset that I use the word aggressive. How can you use the word aggressive? What? Get a thesaurus and find another word. Find another word that makes you feel good. That sounds like aggressive, because that's what it was. That was aggressive behavior.
But you did specify Black women, so I don't want you generalizing all Black women, because I agree with you, and I
no. Again, Danny. let's say there was 100 comments, which there isn't. I think there's like 3,500. But let's say there's 100 comments. Let's say there's 100. Let's say there's 100 comments. 80 of them are positive. 20 of them are negative. Out of that 20, 15 of them are from Black women, and the other 5 are from Black men.
And what were some of the comments? What were some of the comments that the Black women were saying?
Oh, pretty much what I said. The whole parent, the whole should have contacted the parents first. Like that was one of the main things that they kept on trying to argue. I'm gonna post something later on about the school teacher trying to correct me too, saying, no, I like the way you handled it. I just think you should have spoke to the parents. And I go, did you read the message about like I intervened? And another girl said you should have got on the phone. As soon as you got on the phone, a woman, excuse me, another Black woman, she said you should have got on the phone. As soon as you got on there and said, can I speak to your parents, please? Like, how's that gonna? And then for people who expect me to get the phone numbers for each parent, this is New York City. I don't know where you live, where they are, but my son doesn't go to school with like a class of 20 people. His school has over 200 kids in that grade. I'm not even talking about the whole school. I'm just talking about the grade. So for you to think that everybody in New York just has each other, and like there's certain things that are time sensitive that need to be handled in that moment, and that's a moment that I thought need to be handled right now. And in terms of if they are that gung-ho and the parents finding out and dealing with it, I notified the school and the school notified the parents. Parents are involved. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
So people out there need to understand this. Kevin was driving with his son in the car when this was happening. It wasn't that it happened to the son. And later on, Kevin decided to call back the 5 girls and say, don't call my son. What happened was he was in the process of taking his son to school. These girls called. The son was like, Dad, here we go again. I told these girls not to, I told them, no, I don't want to be part of this chat. I don't want to be part of whatever they're trying to do. And they still did not understand his boundaries, right? So now Kevin is with his son in the car at the same exact moment this is happening again. And now the father decides, which is Kevin, is right there and decides to say something and say, hey, please respect my son's boundaries. He does not want you calling him anymore. So thank you and have a good day. I would have done the same thing too if it was happening it's like something happening right in front of me, and I'm sitting there just letting my kids handle it because now I have to wait to call the parents. It could be one thing if it was happening in front of me, and if it wasn't happening in front of me, I understand that. But if it's happening in front of me as a parent, we're from back in the day. The village used to always correct us.
Yep. Whether
the parent was physically there or not, an adult used to always say, hey, you're not supposed to do that. I mean, I don't even know what is even wrong with that. I don't even know why that is a violation. And I think sometimes this is why a society is going downwards, because now when we as an adult can't even go to a kid and just kind of advise the kid, hey, I don't think that's appropriate. Now we have to wait to talk to the parents.
How dare you? And what's really fun about the whole situation, I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. As you know, I love talking and I'm quick with it. I'm really quick. I've responded to almost everyone that's commented. Almost everyone. Like Danny, for the first 3 days that this happened, I didn't sleep. I was up just going in. I'm like, all these people are talking and have this and that.
First of all, I told Kev, I said to Kev, you're reading all these comments? And he's like, yeah, I am. I was like, what? Like, usually if I get any comments, not that I don't read them. I'm actually, honestly, I'm in and out of social media because sometimes I feel like I can get addicted to it. So as being, to represent my kids of not staying on social media, I try to respect my time on it so they don't look at me and be like, okay, Mom, you're on it too. But you said you couldn't sleep. When you hit me up and said, yo, I'm not sleeping, I'm reading this, I know it affects you because you're a really great father.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, it didn't affect me negatively. I want all the smoke. It's not that I love the negative comments because it just shows that this person's point of view is poor, or maybe something bad happens to this person now they're holding on to it. But if you're gonna come at me, you better come at me properly, because I'm not a comedian by trade, but I'm a funny dude, and I can roast like the best of them, especially if it's just writing. You don't want me to talk. I got some time on my hand, and if you look at through my stories, I am just roasting whoever came at me negative and was nasty. Because even with the people who made mistakes and said the wrong thing, saying you should have did this, those threads underneath the post are blowing up and people are chewing them out. And I have to jump on one of them and say, hey, guys, chill, stop cooking her. Like, stop cooking her, because I love it. We've been cooking everybody. And I told people, like, stop it. You're about to get cooked. I will invite you to the cookout. It's not going to be fun. You're not going to like it. You're going to remember this. There's this one woman who probably wrote the most asinine thing on my page just the other day. She wrote, how dare you try to compare the two in terms of because in my caption, I wrote about the importance of protecting young boys. Look what happened at Nickelodeon with the documentary that just came out, which showed us how exposed these young boys were in the 90s, thanks to these horrible, grown adults, pedophiles. So she didn't want to compare it. She didn't want me to compare the two situations at all. And some people felt a little thing about that, but the message was still the same. It was young boys that were taken advantage of. See, we know to look out for the creepy man, and we kind of know to look out for the weird older woman, but they don't think of watching out for that young man's peers, the women that are around him. That's right there. The girls that are around him that are developing right in front of our eyes that seem very sweet. And we all know the game about what happens with these. Well, if you don't know, let me know. With these group chats, especially with the girls, they're way more advanced and they want different things. Like they're texting some really grown up like stuff to these boys that they like. A lot of them pictures. And when the boys have it, they don't know what to do with it. Sometimes they share it with their friends and they kind of like joke about it. And then what happens, Danny? That boy gets in trouble for distributing child pornography, even though he is a child himself. It's happened before. Like, let's stop acting like this hasn't happened. It's happened continuously. And what sucks too, let's say that didn't happen. Let's say a girl didn't give my son an inappropriate picture. But let's just say after a while, he didn't want to do something that they wanted. Now they get upset. And then they go and tell somebody he did something to them. Like, I have to protect him against all those scenarios. And a group chat at his age, 5 girls and 1 guy? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even if he didn't say no, I would have shut it down. But he himself already knew it was wrong. He felt wrong. It was weird for him. There's some comments that's mainly from very ignorant men, so I hope they're joking. Yo, come on, homie, it's 5 girls. It's 5 girls. It's better than 5 boys. And it's just like, all right, well, take your homophobia over there. That's not what this is about. Because if it was 5 boys, because somebody even wrote, I bet you'd rather have your son in a male's group chat. Yes, I would. I would love that.
At his age, yes. At his age,
honestly, Danny,
yes.
At any age. One thing that the Godfather, Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul, would speak about is the lone wolf syndrome that men have. The lone wolf syndrome makes men feel like they don't need anyone and that they're supposed to be doing things by themselves. They're supposed to get their own place. They're supposed to move stuff. Yes, get your own place after you do a bunch of other things. You should have your wolf pack. Have your guys. Why move to New York City or some other big city and spend so much money on one place when you can get a dope spot with a couple of you guys in it? You're like-minded already. Maybe his career can help you with this career. Now you're working together. Get that synergy going. So I wouldn't be opposed to my son being in a group chat when he gets older. I'm sure he will be with guys. But in terms of this situation right now, he's 11 years old. I never want him to be the only guy in a group chat. It's inappropriate. It's not necessary. And whether people like it or not is not happening on my end. No, he's not having a group chat with 1 girl. Another person brought up a situation. I hate when people do this in an argument or a debate where instead of talking about the specific thing at hand, because this is a very specific thing. We're talking about an isolated incident. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about this. She goes, well, when my kids are in their group chat, all they're doing is playing Roblox. Cool, that's great. So that is awesome. Let's stick to what I was talking about, though. Like, let's talk about this. But, my kids are in group chats, and then people come at me, maybe you just need to monitor them better, and this and that. And it's just like, you're missing the point. He advocated for himself, and they said no. The point is that young boys sometimes don't know how to deal with aggressive girls. It's not about me monitoring his stuff. And yes, I think that's important too. Before we even get to that, let's get back to the first matter at hand. They crossed his boundaries. Why would people keep on skipping that part? They want to go straight to the part where dad is involved, which I handle it beautifully. Probably a lot better than a mom would have handled it if 5 boys called her phone.
So, Kev, let me ask you a question. If it was the other way around, and your son was part of a group chat with 5 boys to 1 girl, would you be upset if the mom or dad addressed the group chat towards the boys that your son was also a part of?
Well, I know this is a hypothetical, so I'll act in the hypothetical because there ain't no way in the world my son's about to be in a group chat with 4 of the boys and trying to go after a girl. Because again, he's not thinking about that.
Got it.
Would I be upset that? So I'm one of those parents that I grew up where if I got beat by someone that wasn't like my mom, and I know hitting kids is taboo and we don't talk about it, but let's be real. My family's Jamaican. Yeah, I got beat growing up. If I were to get beat by somebody else and my mom found out about it, she wouldn't have to know what I did. She know I did something wrong, so she's gonna beat me again. So in terms of this situation, if my son gets called and parented by somebody else, you best believe he has to deal with me. He's about to get parented by me, not beat, but parented. I don't hit my son. Yeah, like like the kids needed to be checked. And listening to some of the women that didn't like them being checked, it makes you wonder, do they not like a parent talking to their kid, or did they not like a man talking to a girl?
I mean, we first have to find out. We first have to find out if there's a father present. You know, because sometimes
that's true, and I don't want to assume.
Yeah, because sometimes,
you're right.
You know, with girls, it's important for their fathers to be present, especially at this age of hormonal changes and stuff, because you know, in life, those hormonal changes are because we are starting to be attracted to the opposite, you know, to the opposite
sex. Which is normal. And things are different when we were younger.
Which is normal. And I feel that kids are getting it earlier than ever, because I remember it was high school. Now I'm hearing junior high school is the thing now. I'm terrified right now because my kids are going to junior high school in September. And we're already starting to have the conversations about, you know, these hormonal feelings that they're starting to almost feel. But it also, I think it's the music that they're listening to, the people that they're hanging around with.
And the influencers. Like whatever's going on TikTok.
On Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I'm not perfect at that. I try to I control the iPad through my iPhone. But they're getting a lot of information out there that is a little bit
muddled.
It's inappropriate for their age. Even the music, like my kids, people consider my kids corny. I take it because I told my kids, you have enough time to be adult. Being an adult is like a lot of responsibilities. So they say, you know, my kids are corny because they don't really listen to that music. They don't listen to it yet because I don't want them to listen to it yet because of the things that they say in it. See, back in the day, they used to have, remember rap music used to say explicit. They used to have this thing called explicit, meaning like people under 18 can't listen to this. I don't think they have that anymore because certain music kids, especially in middle school, should not be listening to. It's talking about grinding. It's talking about sex. Not that you don't talk to your kids about those things, but the way they're talking about it, it's like they're talking about it like it's casual. And this is where your kid might get into trouble because they might misinterpret all the sex talk as it's something normal that you do all the time. And honestly, at this age, their head should be in the books. They should be getting those good grades. They should be getting ready to go to college and getting that career so they can make 6 figures. That's where their head should be at. Not that the time to have a relationship with boys and girls or have a relationship. It will come. But we don't as girls especially, you got to understand this with girls. Like, I always feel like we're the ones that sometimes get, you know, that has, if the girl gets pregnant, you know what I mean? It's going to be on us. It's not on the boy. I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the boy, but it's happening to our bodies, right? So we have to slow down our children into thinking that they're mini adults when their minds are not even developed as close to being an adult. Do you understand? But I don't think those girls knew what they were doing though.
Yep. You're absolutely right. And the thing is, parents have to be aware of that, like the changes that their kids are making. You mentioned book, that there had to be in the book. One of the main books there had to be in, and this is a book I bought for my son back when he was 7, and we read it, you know, once a year or so. It's called It's Not the Stork. And it helps parents talk to their children about sex and a couple of serious matters. So It's Not the Stork is very important to not just my household, but to society. And I think
You know
every
what?
parent
I'm
should have
about
that
to
in
get
their
that
house.
book. I'm about to get that book because my daughter asked me about. I can't believe I said the birds and the bees, but I'm actually. She asked me. I was like, this weekend because of what happened with your son. I was like, oh, we're gonna have to have a conversation about the birds and the bees, and she kept asking me, Mom, what is the birds and
Yeah,
the bees? I'm like, I feel
the
so old
birds and the
school
bees.
because I don't wanna. I'm afraid to talk about it because I feel like talking about it is gonna make them more curious. But I know I have to start
So,
talking about it because their hormones are changing, so they're starting. They're starting to get hairs. Like I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm freaking out. But the conversation
so,
has to be made because if we don't have that conversation as parents, the outside world will have the conversation with them.
so yeah, the reason why I got the book for Carter when he was 7 years old is
Oh,
because I wanted to address it. Yeah, I've been talking to him about sex when
not
he was
at
that
7?
young. Yeah, you have to understand, we make sex such a big deal because it is. But if you make it such a big deal that it's almost like a boogeyman and you don't talk about it, now your kid's afraid of the boogeyman, or at least not aware of how to deal with situations like that. You speak to them about it when they're 7 or whatever, and they could care less about it, but they just hear you because they want to learn. Now, when the hormones start taking over, they have all these lessons already in their head that I've been telling my son for years about how this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And because I'm such a great predictor of the future, not that I'm a predictor of the future, I did this already.
Yeah,
I
you
went
did it.
to
You're and
already.
you're a boy. You already know.
We
You
all did it
already
already.
know.
So I already know as a boy what I wish my mom did for me at different steps. So that's why I got that book when he was that young, because I knew he wasn't interested whatsoever. So I said, let me talk to him about this. And I've always spoken to him, his mother as well. Even though we're not together, we always spoken to him about his body, and we never had nicknames for anything. We called it whatever it was.
Yeah.
So he doesn't feel weird about it. So now he's gonna, he'll probably still laugh and be just to feel like one of the boys. But later on, when he's discussing that in school, and all the boys are making jokes like, "Oh, this is vagina," for him, it's gonna be like, I've been saying this word for a long time now. Like nothing's gonna be foreign to him. He's not gonna have that innocent child giggle because he's gonna be like, "Y'all don't know about this?" Like I've spoken to him about it. We've read this book. He sees it. And then when we read it again, as he's getting older, yeah, he's getting more and more interested. But all those seeds are being planted. No one planted seeds in me. My mom came up to me at the age of, I might have been in Carter's grade, now that I think about it. Because I got exposed early.
My parents did not talk about it.
No. I'm not saying that. This is not a story that reflects good on my mom. This is very much what a lot of parents do, where they parent after the fact. I'm trying to be proactive with all this stuff. But once she saw that I was interested in sex, because she found a couple of things, then she's tried to talk to me. But by that point, I had been doing so many things in the dark that I thought sex was a dirty thing. And I didn't want to talk to her about it. So I just told her, no, I'm good. Knowing damn well I should have said yes. But even if I didn't say yes, you're still the mom. I still need to know about sex. Why not just have the conversation? But, people weren't equipped with as much information back then. I get that. But it's just more so establishing that safe bond with your child that you can speak to them about this. And when things happen, they can come at you with it. I lost my virginity when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I was 14 years old.
I'm hearing these stories how men lose their virginity like 14, 13, 12. But my thing is, like, who are they losing their virginity to? Because I hope they're not
to other
12, 13, 14-year-old girls, because
the people their age.
No.
So I lost my virginity. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's 14.
I'm not freaking out. I'm just like, my kids are entering that stage where, I had to protect them at all costs. But
You're never gonna get out that stage, girl.
Cap, I understand what you're saying. So let me ask you a question. Is your son embarrassed at school? Were these school friends? Like these girls were in their school? Like, is he embarrassed, or what is he getting from school?
I'm happy you brought that up. That's something else people brought up. Like, yo, homie's embarrassing his son, especially men. Like, yo, you embarrassing, like little Kevin will get made fun of. I look at him, I go, my son is being chased by 5 girls, and you think he's about to be embarrassed? Sir, I'm not sure if you've ever been chased by 5 girls in your entire life, but let me explain it to you. There's certain men that are born with undeniable swag.
Ooh,
My son is one of my son is one of those men. I saw it from when he was born. I knew from the moment he was born. I saw that pretty baby because he looked just like his mom. His mom is very beautiful. We don't get along, but she still got it. The girl's good. I knew that I had to protect this boy from unhealthy older women, and unfortunately, girls his age that just don't know better. You know, people are upset that I'm calling girls predators. Like, how can you call that? Because in their mind, they have an idea of what a predator is, someone that's doing this. Sure, they're not the same predator as, let's say, a Brian Peck from Nickelodeon, but what they're doing is still the same sort of damage. It's predatory behavior. Them harassing him, that's predatory behavior. And if it goes unchecked, they're going to get older and do more things like that, and going to do things worse than that. A lot of people say men do horrible with rejection. I'll tell you right now, as a man who's never had a problem with getting women, I have a girlfriend now, so don't even try it, ladies out there. But as a man who's never had a problem getting women, I've had to reject a lot in my time. And the way they reacted was insane. You don't want this? You crazy? You don't, whatever, you must be gay. Like, no, I'm not gay. I have standards. That's all.
And you know what? It goes to the point. Yesterday was a funeral of the twin sister of those twin girls that went to the bodega, and they were being like harassed by the boy, 20 years old. And the girls was like, no, we don't want to talk to you. The bodega in Brooklyn closed the doors because the boy was being aggressive, didn't take no for an answer. Boundaries, remember everyone, boundaries. So when the bodega guy actually opened the door, the 20-year-old boy came in with a knife and stabbed both twins, and one of them died, and the funeral was yesterday. This is why it's important to talk about aggression in your kids early and to let them know no means no. It's not gay. It's not like what's wrong with your son. No, we have to start talking about people's space and people's boundaries, because this boy, obviously, no one talked to him about boundaries.
Nobody, no one.
Because he went and killed a 19-year-old girl who was a twin sister for the rejection part.
Did that happen in New York?
In Brooklyn. Happened in Brooklyn.
This happened in Brooklyn?
2 weeks ago. Yes. But just think about it. If this son of a mom and a dad taught him about boundaries, and if someone says no, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Has nothing to do with your self-esteem. They just feel like the answer is no. Maybe you would not have reacted that way. You know,
correct.
Do you understand? Because you can't blame the girl. You can't blame her because she has the right to say no.
Yeah, she has the right to say no.
Just like your son has the right to say no. And because he says no, doesn't mean he's gay, or doesn't mean that, you're embarrassed. It doesn't mean that. I have a right to say no. I have a right to have my boundaries, and I don't need to explain to you why.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. You don't need to explain it. I said no. That's it. That's all. No. But to stay back on the point, young boys, one, they don't even know how to say no, as simple as that sounds. And even if they do say no, look what happens. The girls don't care. You know why they don't care? Because there's no repercussions for their actions. People think it's cute. Five little, keep in mind, every single person that wrote about them, 5 little girls. 5 little girls. Well, those 5 little girls have the know-how to create a group chat and harass a little boy. So maybe we should stop addressing them as little. They're 5 girls, that's a fact, but they're not little. They're smaller than you.
Regardless if they're little or not, maybe we should just start addressing that wrong is wrong, right is right.
Yeah, because you know what? Someone else said, because they were correcting somebody else, like, bro, no. You're not talking about a 16-year-old. This is 11. That's weird. Even if it was 16. And my son said no. I don't care what age it is. He could be 30 years old and he said no. He said no. Because a lot of people, again, before they get to
no
me.
Means no. No means no. And
before they get to me, the story is no.
Don't leave it for interpretation, because that's how you get yourself in trouble. When people say, well, they said no, but they didn't mean no. No. If you want to save yourself from getting into trouble, when someone says no, you just take that no and you walk away from it. You don't try to challenge it.
That part. That's it. That's all you need. I work out a lot, especially the studio called Solid Core. And there was a young lady, one of the ladies that worked in the front desk. And I'm such a hugger. See everybody hug him. So this is, I think, my second time hugging her. And then she made a comment to me. She was like, you know, Kevin, not everybody wants to hug. You know, some people like to ask permission first. And I said, oh, okay. And this is a hug. And everyone in the studios know who I am. I'm not some like creepy guy that just came off the street. I've literally been going to this place a lot. But when she said that, for me, I'm just kind of like, you got it. Now I don't touch her. I still say hi, but I'm just like, hey, what's up? I don't give a pound, nothing. Just, and keep in mind, there was no thing. It was just, once you say that to me, that heard you. That's it. Hey,
yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Because
Hi.
that's honestly her way of saying that she feels uncomfortable with your hugs for whatever
Yeah.
reason. It might not be you. It could be past traumas.
Yep.
And she feels like you're not asking permission to come into her space. So she basically said it politely. Kevin, if you want to hug next time, ask me, because she wants to be asked. And you respected her and not say, well, why are you making it a big deal? Like,
listen to it.
Stop with the excuses.
Stop.
No means no. That's it. You got the answer. She told you what she wanted. You received it. Next time you are appropriate in how you address her particular, because she said she doesn't like to be touched without being asked.
I think one of the most uncomfortable comments I read, this was from a white woman, so let's throw some shade their way. She said, I was saying it earlier, but I didn't finish it for some reason. You know, you and I always go in and out of stuff. She said, I can't believe you're comparing the two. While all children should be protected, this happens way more often from boys hurting girls. That's what she said. So then I respond to her, I go, all right, you're completely right. Should we just sweep this under the rug then? What happened to boys?
You know what? No. She's not completely right. More girls will talk about it. Boys are silent about it.
No. Get what I'm saying. Her point was pretty much saying this doesn't happen to as many boys as it happens to girls. So why we discuss? But the point is, she's saying this doesn't happen to as many boys as it does to girls. So why are we talking about this? And for me, it's just kind of like, because it's still happening to boys. I don't care how small the number. You're still talking about children. Because sometimes when they break it down and do all these percentages, they go, only 4% of boys this happened, but that 4%, it's thousands.
It matters. It matters because it's happening. It happens to one. It matters.
Yeah. So for me, the honestly, Danny, I don't even care if people disagree, because again, most people agreed. But for the people who disagreed, now they understand, or at least they got a little taste of what it is and what boys are going through. They can't unread what they saw, unread what they read, unview what they saw. It's in them. So the next time something happens with a boy around them, they're going to be aware, whether they know or not. They're unconsciously aware that maybe this boy needs help. Maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe this girl did something. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens with these group chats or just text messages, period, is that, again, girls don't like rejection. If the guy says no and this and that, little girls, you think they have a maturity level to be like, all right, I respect his boundaries. No, they're embarrassed and they're upset, and now they want to see you hurt. And they can easily hurt you. Whatever they said you did, you did. There has to be no proof, no nothing. Now, I'm not saying every girl does that, but I'm saying it happens. And what I'm trying to do with preventing that group chat was that happening for my son. And everyone says, how do you know the girls were going to do something? Because they created a group chat. That's how I know. My son asked them not to, and they did it. So the fact that they did, that's how I know they're going to do something. Those girls didn't do that accidentally. It's 5 girls. Then another person go, why are you giving out his phone number? Only one of those girls had his phone number. He was cool with her. She shared it with the rest. But all these questions of why you this, why you did that, would you ask any questions if it was 5 boys going after a girl? There'll be no questions asked. Those boys need to be dealt with. They're disgusting. That's it. Because it's 5 girls, it's just kind of like, oh, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. What happened? Did they do something wrong? Yes, they created a group chat.
Basically, they're making your son, they're treating your son like he's not a victim.
Correct. They're like, well, nothing happened to him. Like, did somebody even wrote, so your son is a victim now? And I wrote, actually, he's not, because I stepped in. See what I did there? You know, one boy actually wrote, and we had a fun little conversation, because if you look at my page, like, it's fun. It really is. Unless you write something not fun, yeah, I'm gonna write something not fun. You're not gonna like it. I'm embarrassing you in front of everybody. I'm great at humiliating people. I used to be a bully when I was a kid. And I know, I get it, that's terrible, but that's who I was. It's in me. It's always gonna be in me. These people brought out the bully. the bully. And oh, how I've missed him so. This one guy wrote, he goes, and he was joking. Man, if my pops did this to me, I would be like, no, Dad, no. And then I wrote this. I don't write laughing emojis. I haven't used it once in this whole thing. And I wrote, his name is, I think, Nick. I wrote, shut up, Nick. And I put a laughing emoji. And I go, oh, damn it. It's the first time I use a laughing emoji in this whole contact. It's supposed to be serious. Shut up, Nick. But, he clearly sees I'm joking from the thing. Then he responded back saying, all jokes aside, you taught me something that I didn't even realize about the situation in terms of how inappropriate it is and how this happens to boys. And it's like little micro things that people don't notice. Even as an adult woman looking at a little boy saying, woo, look at him, he's going to be a killer like this. Imagine me as an adult man looking at one of your girls like, damn, girl, when you grow up, you're going to look good. It sounds weird, right? Doesn't it? It's weird the other way, too. We've just been accepting it for so long. We think that boys want to hear stuff like that. They don't want to hear that. A lot of boys get uncomfortable when people say that to them. And people don't, one, realize, or two, care. They don't. They really don't. Or even, so take this for an example in terms of how easily a boy can get in trouble. And this is one of the things that
And Kevin, before you start, just give all your handles so people can find you and comment even more about what you say.
They have it. They have it already. It's right here. Hey, Kev. Yep, hey, Kev. That's how you can find me.
Okay.
So this
is the last thing we're going to talk about before we wrap up. So let's
gotcha.
Close it. Let's go.
Little girl in this woman's class. Well, she kept on finding out her son was getting in trouble. She didn't know why. And her son told her, like, this girl likes me. She keeps on getting me trouble. She didn't know why. She goes to the class. You see this girl keeps on hitting her son, keeps on hitting him. No one's saying anything to her. Then the son retaliates and hits her. Now we have a big issue. They bring him into his office. They have a meeting with him. He gets suspended, all this stuff. And it's just like, that happens way more often than you think. It happens so often where that's not getting addressed of this girl hitting him. Because think about it. People are literally assuming girls are weak. Like, that's their assumption, that girls are weak by saying that. She's hitting him and you don't think he's getting hurt? He's not 30 years old and she's 10. They're the same age. That still hurts him. Or if it bothers him and he's saying it's bothering him, it's bothering him. And now he retaliates and now she's the victim. That's how it works. But that happens more often than not. And then examples just like that with anything. Just anything, but that's that.
So basically,
here we are.
Kev's point is the double standard has to stop.
Well, at least be aware of it.
Propaganda.
Damn right. At least be aware of it. Educate your kids. Parent your kids. And you know what? If you see somebody else's kids doing wrong, especially towards your kid, yes, correct that behavior, especially if it's in real time. And then reach out to the adult and let them know what happened. Because a lot of times you're not going to be able to see the adult right there. Like, I don't know what the adult is. Should I wait here while my child continues to be harassed until the adult comes? So I can be like, hey, can you talk to your kids because they're harassing my kid? Absolutely not. If my son was doing something crazy, but that's how you raise your kids. Because my son ain't never going to be doing nothing crazy. And if he does, you best believe I am on him. I bring my son to the park all the time. I see him do things wrong all the time. All I have to do is look at him.
Yeah.
Like, he would literally look up after he did something wrong, look around, and you'll see me on the other side of the park staring at him. And he's just like, he knows. He knows.
And with that said, I just want to tell everyone, hey, Kev, thank you for coming on the show. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm happy you stood up for your son. And for all comments about if Kev was right, Kev was wrong, you can go to @HeyKev, KEVVV, 3 V's, and you can comment on his page and give your points of view on this interview. And you can actually go on his page to find out what actually happened. Everyone, thank you for joining. I'm proud of you, sis. I'm host Danny Benson, and see you next week. Bye, guys. Bye.